Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Today we'll be talking about El Nino. And yes, El Nino has actually strengthened. It is from 2.8 degrees Celsius. It is now 3.0 degrees Celsius. That's 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit when translated into Fahrenheit or our measurement to be fair. So the current El Nino right now stands to be as the strongest. It is now stronger than 97, 98. However, according to NOAA, the Oceanic Service, National Oceanic Service, they actually said it's not exactly as strong as 97, 98 because in order to be considered stronger than 97, 98, it has to stay above the let's say above the levels that 97, 98 were currently in when it came to the winter. And we know that this El Nino, now that it has peaked to 3.0 degrees Celsius according to the Weather Channel WSI, it actually has peaked because they don't see the El Nino getting any stronger than what it is now anymore. They think that from here on out it's going to go down, and the model's actually showing a downtrend, and it's showing a sharp decline in the El Nino strength, which means it's actually going to be just below the 97, 98 El Nino, which was one of the strongest on record, but the 2015 still became one of the strongest El Ninos on record. But however, as this gets stronger, we did notice some upwelling of cold waters off the coast of South America in the Pacific Ocean by the equatorial regions. It's actually taking the El Nino and pushing it a bit further off the sea. That's what you want to see if you're like me. If you like snow, you like cold air, you want to see the El Nino move a little further off out into the ocean. And the same thing for Southern California. You want rain to ease your drought. You want to see that. So you want to see it move a little further out to sea so it can actually aim right towards at you. However, mind you, there's a danger with that because that means now mudslides. That means a whole bunch of flooding. That means rain. That means more tornadoes, places in the south. And while the east and in the south. So this means that the El Nino, as it weakens now, is actually going to move a little further out to sea and become more of a central-based El Nino. What does that mean? It's going to be sitting right over the international date line. So one side of the El Nino is going to be on the other side of the planet with a different time frame, while the other one's going to be the eastern side of the date line with a different time frame. So you can only imagine the confusion with that. Now, my thoughts of this winter is as follows. As WSI said, my thoughts of this winter is that it's gonna be a very like difficult winter to put out really because you have the AO, you have NAO, you have a lot of Siberian snow cover. All this goes into hand when it comes to Northeast winter prediction. Right now, WSI is actually research. WSI is actually focusing on the winter weather outlook for the Northeast, which happens to be the wild card for the rest of the country. You think was the El Nino, it shouldn't be a wild card. The truth is, the Northeast isn't really affected by El Nino all that much, or a La Nina for that fact of the matter. I think the La Nina actually affects the Northeast weather more than El Nino does. And so when they look back to 82 and 83, 97, 98, we saw that both of these years did feature cold air and at least one snowstorm that literally dumped on these areas. And this year we're expecting more coastal storms this year, and we're expecting the colder to be there this year. So as we head into December and El Nino begins to weaken, don't be surprised if it gets cold outside of the north. So like, oh my god, it's so cold, it's an El Nino year. No, just because the El Nino doesn't mean it's be warm. That just means that just be more abundance of moisture in the year. It becomes more abundant, and that means that storms are now stronger. It doesn't mean it's gonna be a warm winter. If you live in the west, that's your case. You live in the northern tier, and you live in the plains, the northern plains, the northern tier, the northwest, the Pacific Northwest, and that pattern will change coming to December to more El Nino-like pattern, but I expect it just to dip in the east because that's been the theme really. When you get a ridge in the west, you get a trough in the east. So basically, in December, I'm expecting this to happen. The NAO is actually in the NAO for the next few days. Going to start trending negative, which means that will allow more cold air to come into the United States. However, I'm looking at the correlation between the prognostications that meteorologists are putting out, and I'm looking at towards the end of the week going into December, and they're putting out 50s as highs, which means they're not really looking at the models to actually suggest and follow the actual modeling forecast that says of a negative AO NAO, which means I wouldn't be surprised if overnight it gets corrected and all of those things become a 40s and high 30s at some point. So basically expect snow this year in the Northeast, a lot of it because this El Nino will become a central-based El Nino, basically Moldiki El Nino, and that means you're going to get the blocking to actually occur off of the Greenland, which means it's going to be a Greenland block. And, not saying it's going to happen, but it will be a blocking pattern eventually because this July was pretty there. It was really anomalous for July. That's not even normal for July. It's supposed to be blocking for July, but there was. It was very anomalous, and it looks like it's going to be strongly negative. It's like literally a straight flat line, and it just falls off like that. I'm like, wow, wait a minute. That's like a strong negative reading. And that happens, that means it's going to have a strong reading and blocking. So right now, I'm just watching that, the NA and the AO, see how far negative they go, and if it verifies, that means December could possibly be a month featuring of blocking in the Northeast, and we could wind up with a lot of wintry mixes and snow. The European and the GFS are picking up on something that's going to come with abundance with enough cold air. If enough cold air, according to the GFS, is the same, we could get some frozen precipitation. But right now, the details are sketchy. So thank you for watching this video, and have a great day. And I will have a secondary video coming out today after this one. So thank you and stay tuned.